Welcome back everyone. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about this NerdQAxe from Tiny Chip Hub. Currently sits at about 4.8 terahash at around 72 watts of power out of the box. Well, I've overclocked mine to about 6 to 6.2, depending on how it goes. With the increase in hashes, of course, comes an additional power. This one clocks at about 109, 110, roughly give or take about 10%. So not much more for what you're trying to get out of it, which is really good. Tiny Chip Hub, they pretty much have remastered this. It's called the remastered version for a reason. They have a full article on everything that they've provided, which we will go through today. But just a few features. Just they've added a few heat sinks, bigger capacitors, and then the copper lines within the actual PCB are thicker, so that allows you to pretty much increase the wattage that it can handle, which allows you to pretty much ramp up the hashes and potentially hit that block a lot quicker. But when you do increase the power, comes heat. So to deal with that heat, we obviously have this big fan and nice big copper heatsink on the side, and then of course on the back we have another fan itself to cool all the components on the back. So that's a great feature with this stand that Tiny Chip Hub provide, and of course they provide the Bitcoin, because you know you always need that luck. So let's go on the computer now and check on the web GUI and that article, and we'll see what everything's all about. So here we have the NerdQAxe++ dashboard. Just straight off the bat, just a few things. We have obviously the hash rate there. So like I said before, I've overclocked mine. So we're sitting at about that 6 to 6.2 terahash, give or take a little bit. And with the overclocking, obviously comes the increasing power as well. So we have that all down here, like I said before, about that 110 watt range. But with that extra power, the ASIC temp stays cool, the VR temp stays cool, and I only have the fans on about 50%, both front and rear. And that's actually quite quiet. It's not too overwhelming or anything where it is, which is really good. And then of course no rejected shares, which is also a great bonus. And then the efficiency, which is sitting at a really good joules per terahash, so you can't complain about that. And then obviously to set it up, which I'll go through in another video later on, but you just input your Wi-Fi settings, and then put your pool settings, which I'm currently mining fractal Bitcoin, just to try and get a bit of revenue coming in. So if you hit a block of that, it's probably about $11, I believe right now. So nothing crazy, but you are much more likely to hit it than a Bitcoin block. And then obviously my custom frequencies to get my terahash, and then just all that stuff there. So nothing more with that. And then obviously this is the Tiny Chip Hub article explaining all the differences they've done with the NerdQAxe++. So one of the greatest things Tiny Chip Hub does is they provide brand new ASIC chips. So a lot of companies out there, they all basically take used or decommissioned miners, pull them apart and use the chips out of them. Whereas Tiny Chip Hub, they will source brand new miners and get the chips out of them and pretty much put them straight onto their machine, so you know they're all brand new and all going to work perfectly. And then as we go further down, like I said before, the PCB copper with it is 2 ounce, where most of them only have 1 ounce. So obviously it's double the thickness, which increases the dispersion of heat, which is really, really good for all your components and everything along with the miner. And then they have also increased the fuse protection. So most of the normal NerdQAxe++s only have about an 8 amp fuse, whereas Tiny Chip Hub, they have a 10 amp, which obviously you are then able to push the miner further and have more wattage going through it safely, and not going to have any issues popping it. And then, as I said before, the capacitors. So they have bigger capacitors, which just help out with a lot of efficiency and heat issues as well. And then that just explains the different colors of, so we have purple on the Tiny Chip Hub one. So they're considered some of the best ones, which is great. And then, yeah, like I said about the thickness of the PCB too, it's actual PCB itself is thicker, which obviously adds a bit of weight, but also adds rigidity and helps disperse the heat, which is great. And then, of course, the fans. They obviously had the fan front and back, and it's a very efficient fan. It's not too loud too. I've had it on 100%. It does get up there with sound at 100%, but you really don't need it unless you're really, really pushing it. But then I don't like doing that, because if you push them too hard, then you can burn out the miner itself, which is obviously not good for anyone. And then, yeah, they just start talking about all more in-depth things that I don't really need to go too much into about. That's just a comparison of a competitors versus Tiny Chip Hub's NerdQAxe++. So you can see a lot of the differences. Just the heatsink is a lot thicker, and just like a lot of things to go along with that. So if you want to really read into this, I'll leave a link in the description. And if you are interested in purchasing one yourself, I also do have a discount code, which I'll leave in the description. It's just a little bit off. It helps you, helps me, so everyone's happy along with that. So yeah, just there's lots of information if you really, really want to go into it. That just talks about all the heat and everything, which is really, really good. All your default terahash settings and everything you can push it to. And yeah, so then that's just everything to go along with. And then obviously to know your chances with it all. So this is Bitcoin. So if you only have one NerdQAxe++ at 6 terahash, obviously it's a massive long shot, but you do have some chances. 1 in 1.2 million a day. And then, yeah, so obviously very slim, but there is a possibility. But then if you want to go down the route of doing Bitcoin Cash, which is not as much, but still a good payday of $1,500 US almost, your chances per day dramatically drop to 1 in almost just under 7,000, which, you know, if that's what you want to go for, great. But yeah, so like I said before, I'm actually mining fractional Bitcoin, which is even easier. So you can almost do one. I wouldn't say easy, it's still hard, but you can almost do one, I think once a month or once every couple of weeks, which is really good. But yeah, so you just got to try it to be in it to win it, I guess. So that's it today for this episode of my NerdQAxe++ from Tiny Chip Hub. If you liked what you saw today, if you give me a like and a subscribe, that would help me out so much. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. See you in the next one.